Mr. Lalit Modi, welcome on Figuring Out.
Lalit Modi has been banned for life.
You think one politician ruined your BCCI stint?
One political party. I get a call from President. I will have you raided by ED tomorrow. You'll be taken by income tax and we will jail you. I said, you. And I banged the phone down.
You're a fugitive.
I really don't care what people think.
Did you face any death threats?
I got death threats many times from Dawood Ibrahim.
How did IPL happen?
I tell the team, anybody who hits 6 sixes, I'll give you a Porsche out of my pocket. And one fine day, Yuvraj Singh blasts 6 sixes. And Yuvraj comes running to me and says, Lalit, where's my Porsche? I said, give me the bloody bat. That bat is downstairs. That 6 sixes, we knew IPL was won.
Now it is dominating the world of cricket.
Lalit Modi, the mastermind behind the IPL,
Has become one of the most popular, valuable sports leagues on the planet.
You said Shah Rukh Khan was a pillar.
Shah Rukh went to school with me. I said to Shah Rukh, you need to own a cricket team. He says, Lalit bhai, I don't know what cricket is. I said, this will be bigger than your film.
A lot of money laundering cases on you.
We moved the IPL to South Africa without government approval. We are a private organization. We're not taking your money.
BCCI have suspended you on 22 charges. You threw a big party, you bought drugs and all of that.
I got into all of that.
So why do Indian media, why are they doing
Scandal
this?
self. But I asked Vineet Jain, लौंडिया बाजी करता है ना, मेरे साथ करता है ना, तो फिर क्यों मेरे बारे में लिखता है कि ये लौंडिया मेरे पास बैठी थी? खाता मेरे घर पे है, छुरी मेरे को मारता है पीछे से, क्योंकि पैसा उसको बनाना है.
But why do people who leave India, they come to London? What do you think? You've done good or bad in your life?
I have done bad things.
Yeah.
They knew it brings tears to my eyes. I mean, even if I remember this.
Our today's podcast is with Lalit Modi, the founder of IPL and ex-vice president of BCCI, the man who mixed entertainment and sports in India and is credited to build the second largest sports franchisee in the world and has impacted millions of lives. But in 2010, he had to run away from the country. And since then, he has been called as a fugitive and a fraudster. BCCI suspended Lalit Modi on 22 charges, including betting, money laundering, bid rigging, awarding contracts to his friends, and accepting kickbacks as bribes, and breaking FEMA laws worth 2.43 billion rupees, and using all the illegal money to buy corporate jets. But all of these are just news by different media publications. What's his side of the story? What's the reality? Where are all the proofs? Is he a fugitive? Is he a fraud? Or all of these are just allegations against him and he has become a scapegoat of politics? Or was it the mafia involved where his life was under question? All of these we have spoken about on today's podcast. We have talked about Indian politics, Indian cricket, Indian mafia, the birth of IPL, all from Lalit Modi's point of view. And we have also attached reports, newscards, FIRs against him, which all of you can see in the end. Watch this podcast to decide who is right and who's wrong. Our job on this podcast is only to ask difficult questions that would bring out the truth and perspective from all sides. I made sure that I ask all the hard-hitting questions which most people are scared to ask, because I believe our audience should get all the insights from all point of views. Also, this podcast is a little different than our other podcasts because this has been shot on 2 different days, because the podcast was so intense that it went on for 7 hours. Watch this podcast till the end. Thank you for actually allowing me this opportunity where you are not interfering in the questions and then just letting it be.
My pleasure, and that's the way I like it. Good or bad, whatever I've done in my life is what my life is, and there's nothing to hide. So you can ask me the most difficult question as far as I'm concerned.
Perfect. That's a good start then. Mr. Lalit Modi, welcome on Figuring Out. Thank you so much for giving time on a beautiful noon in London. Well, you said good or bad, it's your life. What do you think? You've done good or bad in your life?
I think I've done good. I have no, not even one day I go to sleep or I get up in the morning and I can't look myself in the mirror and say that I've done something bad.
You really believe so?
I completely believe so. At the end of the day, you have to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say whether you've done something right or wrong. And can you live with it? At the end of the day, I've changed lives. That's what matters. So if you weigh on a scale what's good and bad, what people may think, I really don't care what people think. I care what I feel and what people ask me. So if I went on the judgment of a few media and social media platforms that may go against you because of vested interests or because they want to fuel or sell a story because it's hype or it's because that's or it's corruption or it's something scandalous because that's what sells, is not what it is in reality. Because what the common man sitting in his living room in a one-bedroom, not even house, one-bedroom living space with his children. You saw Ishant Sharma in the past. When I took him at that point in time, we recognized him. Not I took him. The IPL owners embraced him. But it was because of his talent. It was of his talent that he, railway man's son, went in there, lived in one-room house. I remember very clearly because it had a big impact on me. He went on, his whole family was earning 2,000 rupees, and he goes on to earn a crore and a half of rupees. It was a life-changing moment. It was a big moment. It was not a big moment for him. It was a big moment for many people in the country. They knew it was aspirational.
Yeah.
They knew it brings tears of eyes. I mean, even if I remember this, because it was aspiration. It created hope. It created so much hope for people. And there were so many other incidents like that have happened. So, yes, I may have done things bad, but all of those, you forget about in life when you just remember one story. And that one story is that kid who did it in the year one. And you see many other stories like this. So I appreciate you asking the question. I never thought I would even react like this to a question like that. But in life, I can proudly sit here today and my children can look me in the eye, and they do every day. And when something bad happens, and I've gone through a tough time in my life, I had many assassinations in my life, and also because of cricket. And they said, but you can look back because they saw it. And family knows better than anybody else, whether you've done good or bad. I have done bad things. I've done bad things to myself, whether it's drugs or anything else. I've done bad things to myself. I went into depression, did bad things to myself. But it overcomes everything when you've done something for somebody else. And that's what counts. And that's what future will remember you about. May not be now, maybe 100 years from now. I was born with money, always had money, never needed any money, don't need it now. And thankfully, touch wood, my children won't need it for generations to come. Because of the wealth created by my forefathers, but the wealth even I created for the family. It's generational wealth. Anyway, go ahead. I don't preempt your questions.
That's all right. I'll let you flow. It's all right. But let's start with the childhood. Okay. Tell me, where were you born? What was the kind of family you were born in?
I was born in
How were you as a kid? I want to know all.
I was born in a very illustrious family, the Modi family. Mm-hmm. I was born in Modi Nagar. My grandfather created Modi Nagar. He set up the Modi sugar mill. And from there created many, many industries. And I grew up in a house which had over 100 homes, 100 rooms, a dining table which was long enough to seat the entire family. Grew up in a house with hundreds of staff, with everything in the house available. It was like a state that you see in modern days. So I grew up in that family at that point in time. And my upbringing started there. And I went to boarding school. I was sent away to a school, it was called Bishop Cotton in Simla.
Okay.
At the age of 5, which is a very young age. I used to get bullied a lot in school. I came from a rich family, very rich family, probably the richest family in
Bullied as in what were you?
They would take my tuck. I've got these tuck boxes, and I had my boxes of sweets and my biscuits and all that, and everybody would take it, and they would bully you for that. You know, and those were precious things that you had as a schoolboy. Everybody dressed in the same uniform. Everybody wore the same shirt. You went to the same school, and some people had tuck, some people didn't have tuck. Okay, so I would have my tuck, and I would have an account in a place called Gendamal Hemraj. I remember this very clearly, even at the age of 5, which was a grocery store, or all-purpose store on the mall in Shimla. And once every 2 weeks, you would be allowed to go for a walk with the whole school and get to go to all these shops and spend 1 rupee or 2 rupees in those days. But I had to have an account there, so I didn't have to pay the 1 or 2 rupees. Okay, I would bring back whole bag full of sweets. And everybody would always steal my sweets or bash me up to take those sweets. And I was always picked up as a child. So this was the major turning point in my life. At the age of 7, I ran away from the school.
Because you were bullied.
I was bullied. I left overnight. I walked, Bishop Cotton is in the forest. I walked all night to the station in Simla.
At the age of 7.
At the age of 7, in the dark forest, took the train overnight, which is a small train that goes from Shimla to Kalka. Got on that train with few rupees in my pocket, with no money, and went underneath the third-class compartment and slept there. And then the train all of a sudden stopped in the middle of nowhere, and there was a helicopter and police all over the place. They found me then. And I was put into the chopper and taken straight back to Modi Nagar. I was sent back to another boarding school in Nainital.
Okay.
So I was in St. Joseph's then. There I had built a lot of confidence in myself. And I was now a ringleader.
What is a ringleader?
Everybody followed you.
Okay.
In that school, in boarding school, whatever the ringleader can be, okay? I excelled in sports. I ran the marathon. I would win. I would in boxing. I was in tennis. I was an athlete, 100 meters, 200 meters, hurdles, long jump, football. I was in every team by then. And we ran away from school to see the movie that night. One day we got caught going out for a movie.
Okay. How old were you?
We were at that time 16.
Okay.
And I was quite grown up.
11th, 10th, 11th.
We were on the 10th.
Okay.
And there were 4 of us that went out for a movie, and we put these dummies inside our bed, pillows stuffed in. And we were going out, and we all came back, and they were all waiting for us there. Okay, the headmaster, everybody. So we were all expelled from school. So expelled from school. So of course everybody's families got upset. And mine, of course, got extremely upset. 10th year, board exams, what are you going to do? So to make a compromise with the school, they said we're going to sue the school. We were also the biggest donors in the school. Made a compromise with the school. They said, okay, we'll transfer him. Okay, to New Delhi, to St. Columbus. So I was transferred to St. Columbus School, which was extremely, we were all happy. All the other kids said, we also want to transfer. They all got transfer with me. I got 10 kids who wanted to transfer. They all got transferred to St. Columbus. And we all joined St. Columbus then.
Okay.
And I started living in Delhi, and that was my childhood.
So full of events.
Full of events.
Was it ever...
Always a rebel.
At any point, did you feel like, oh, I am the Modi, so...
Yes, that I did, without doubt. And
nothing's going to happen to me. Fuck it, who cares?
That's true. It did. Without doubt, that happened to me.
But before that, you did the schooling there, like in Delhi in the end. Then you went to college. Where did you go?
I went to college at Duke in North Carolina.
US.
US.
How was it?
I loved it. No Modi family member in my generation had traveled abroad. I was hell-bent on going to America. My father would never let me go. So he said, only way you can go to America is if you get a high score at SAT. Minimum 1,500 out of 1,600. Okay, how the hell am I going to get 1,500 out of 1,600? So I hired somebody to go to do my SATs. Okay? Somebody else went and did my SATs. They got 1,550 out of 1,600. Great. Okay?
Somebody else did it for you.
In those days. You could get away with those in those days. Because somebody else, his picture, my name, we created a driving license. It was done. Okay? It's coming at the story of my life. I can't change it. Went to school for me. Got 1,560. I applied to every university. I get you name the university I got in, because I had also done all my mark sheets from class 2 to 12 at 90% or above, with the PO box in Delhi in Delhi in somewhere, it was the Connaught Place or something, Hindustan Times, Connaught Place, PO box number. Okay, I would create my own application. I printed my own certificates, I remember. Okay, so I got to every university. Now, that wasn't good.
So you faked all your applications?
All, without doubt. If you see the movie Back to School, identical. Okay, they probably took a lesson from me on that. Okay? Then, again, my father says, you can't go to this university, you can't go to a big town. Our partner was Philip Morris. My father was at a board meeting in Philip Morris in New York. And my son is desperate to go to college in America. Can you get him into a university which doesn't have a nightclub in it? Okay, so they found Duke University in North Carolina, which I hadn't even applied for. But Philip Morris was a big donor in those days to tobacco country. So I ended up going to Duke, North Carolina. I got into, you name it, from Penn down to, you name the university.
Yeah.
But I only applied myself to Malibu and a few of the other Ivy Leagues. I got into all of them based on my mark sheet.
But you also, you threw a big party, you bought drugs and all of that.
I got into all of that. In campus, a lot of people did drugs. I didn't drink, but I tasted drugs and I got into drugs. It wasn't a big thing. It was everybody was doing it. I got into it. We got busted for it, for conspiracy to buy drugs. We never bought it.
Meaning? What is it?
In North Carolina, the crime to even consider to buy it in those days.
Okay, even to think that you want to buy.
Or you want to buy it.
Okay.
So we were going to buy it. We were going for spring break and saying, instead of buying a gram or two, let's just buy a whole lot of it.
Like a half a kg, a kg of it.
Kilogram of coke. Okay? So all the fraternity brothers made us hate a pie. The fraternity got banned from campus after that, after this incident happened. This is the actual story. Everybody has many stories. The actual story is there were three of us who decided, the whole fraternity, a lot of people pooled in money. We were going to Fort Lauderdale. It was a very rich fraternity. A lot of people in the fraternity were rich kids. Parents were very rich and they came from rich background. So they said, instead of buying a gram here, 2 grams there, and buying adulterated stuff, let's just buy it together. And then we are going to spring break, we'll enjoy it all, carve it all out and go. So everybody pulled in, collected 10 grand. It's going to buy a key in those days at 10 grand. It was very cheap comparatively, right? Okay? And you buy it in those days at $15 a gram. It was $10 a gram. Not bad. Okay, so everybody pulled it. Okay, we went in. It was the Sheraton Duke Hotel. The Duke Sheraton Hotel and next on Duke Forest. I remember we drive there. We take a room. Somebody has set it up from another fraternity who said, I know a guy who can supply it. All of a sudden, the door opened, bang, and there's a guy with a mask on his face, with a shotgun in his hand. And he said, give me your money. Okay? We all pissed in our pants, literally. He tied us up, put socks in our mouth, and left us sitting there. And took the money and flipped. So at 6 o'clock turn-down service, the maid comes down, she sees us all tied up. Okay? She frees us, we ran the hell out of there. Take a car and go back to the fraternity. It's a funny thing now. When you look at back in those days, it's frightening. You tell all the kids, hey guys, we got robbed. I said, I'm out of this. We got robbed. I don't really care about my share. But to a lot of kids, it was their recreational money for the holidays. They needed it back. Or they needed to make somebody else pay for it. So somebody else who had done it, they pick him up, bring him to the fraternity house, and they beat him up. And that was assault. That's what they said. Not me. I could assault anybody for that sake of being on the skinny little, guy. Assaulted him. And that guy would disappear for 2 days in the fraternity house. He's drinking away beer and everything. He's telling stories. He has told the whole story now. How he got a brother of his in Atlanta to come and rob these rich kids. But his roommate found that this kid has been missing for a day, informed the campus police. That kid is missing, and I think he must have done this. So it was this fraternity did it.
Oh.
So all of a sudden, the campus police is snooping around. I lived off campus by then. And it's a beautiful house with a cook, with a driver, and 8 other fraternity brothers living in the same house with a swimming pool in the Duke Forest. Friday evening, we're all leaving for Fort Lauderdale. Police from all around, helicopters in the air, come around, sweep, and they arrest us all. Okay, and we get charged for conspiracy to buy. Not any drugs, they were conspiracy to buy with an assault and all of whatever they put in. Anyway, when the court thing, it was just, we all were locked up on the Friday night. I was hungry, I needed pizza. Something got me pizza. I remember Domino's delivered there. Calls were made from around the world. There were a lot of powerful people involved. But by that time, it hit the news around the world. Rich fraternity kids. India became bigger with me. Mrs. Gandhi was prime minister in those days. George Bush was secretary of state, I remember of those days. There was a whole lot of chaos all over the place. And that is what the incident was. And then they decided I moved to New York.
How did you get out of it?
There was nothing, there was no drugs. So it was conspiracy to buy. We were charged with it, but we were let off with community service in the morning.
Oh, you were not like arrested for like 2 years or like...
Are you mad? It was 24 hours. That's what it was. You were locked up for 24 hours in the county, in the court, not even in the jail, the county lock-up area before it went to a judge in the morning. By the morning, we all pleaded to, yes, we were planning to buy, but we didn't buy. So it's not a what do you call a main crime or something. So you get slapped on the wrist, and that was a slap on the wrist. We had to do a few hours of community service, which we did.
Oh, but the news, like when you read about it online.
Because it was the first charge. That's all they read about it. They don't read the second charge. Like you print the headline, you don't read the retraction or what happened the next day. Okay? You just read the front page, the minute you're charged. But actually, what happened in the end...
This was the story.
That's actually the story.
And the story completes online that Estee Lauder's founder helped you out to get out.
No, nothing to do with Estee Lauder's founder. It was not me. Many people, very, very powerful people, much more powerful than the Modi family people that are involved in the fraternity.
You had an eventful childhood and always surrounded with glamour and so
controversies.
And controversies.
Very controversial.
Controversy still even till now. Like
I believe very strongly in when somebody slaps you on one cheek, either you can take it and look the other way, or you can react back. Simple as that. And if you have done nothing wrong, you react back. And so people say, let a politician slap you, just look the other way because he's a politician. Who? Why? Why should he get the free break? Is my view. Simple as that.
True.
Is what I believe.
So you're always enamored by glamour.
I wasn't enamored as part of it. Shah Rukh went to school with me. We were school friends. So when I went to approach him for cricket, he said, Lalit, I have anything about it. I said, I just want you to be part of it. He was the number one pillar for the IPL. We'll come to that later. But he was the pillar for me, and I'll tell you reasons why later on. But I'm saying, so...
You were
when you talk about Lalit Modi, the movie star, I was in the business. I created entertainment business when there was no entertainment business. Whether Subhash Ghai or Yash Chopra or all of them, they all worked with me. In those days, they were the stars in those days. Look at who was the Subhash Ghai and all the big stars. We all were doing serials with them. I was chairman of the entertainment committee of India for entertainment. When I brought Disney to India, again, it was not a recognized industry of the government of India to allow for direct investment into the entertainment industry. So Disney was the first foreign direct investment that came into India in the entertainment sector.
And that was through you.
That was my joint venture with me. I bought ESPN into India when there was no pay TV in India. It was only free TV available in India. Star TV had come in, which was negotiating with me. Rupert Murdoch sat on the board of Philip Morris. When I went for a board meeting at Philip Morris, as an outsider, sitting outside the board meeting, waiting for my father to come on, who was a special invitee to the board meeting at that time, I met Rupert Murdoch. And he said, I want to enter India. Then I said, why don't we launch a sports channel? So I went to Disney, obviously. They're my partners. They own something called ESPN. I said, why don't you bring ESPN to India? They said, if you make it a pay channel and get pay money, we will partner with you. I said, if you buy all the cricket, I'll find a way to pay. Murdoch used to put the cricket onto Prime Sports, which turned into Star Sports, without paying for it. He was like Doordarshan. You want to show it on my channel? I'll give you 10 cents on the dollar, and you would take it. There's a guy called Bill Sinrich, who worked for IMG. He was the agent for all the boards. And Indian board was Mark Mascarenhas for Jagmohan Dalmia, who was the money bag for him. Everybody was on the take. So I said to ESPN, I found a way. So I remember clearly, Under Rupert Murdoch's nose, we bought all the rights of cricket from every board, except Indian board. By that time,
Why?
there was still contract wasn't done. That because they'd been sold to Star for a certain number of years, right? And they were getting kickbacks, and we were not paying kickbacks to one Dalmia's person, Mark Mascarenas. India's touring England. We own all England rights, and in the meantime, I've already been running the channel for a year and a half on a free-to-air basis, ESPN. And at that point in time, I'm looking at content, and I know cricket is working for us. And then IPL was born, or cricket, I got into cricket only because, and only reason because, I made ESPN number one, and it hurt Rupert Murdoch. And Rupert Murdoch decided the only way to get back into India was to merge with ESPN India and take Lalit Modi out. So when he did that, Michael Eisner had already left Disney, my godfather. They decided, Rupert Murdoch convinced them that let's take him out and not pay him for it. So, got into a legal battle. Ran on for years in America. Now you can't win a battle in America against the top American conglomerate. I spent over $20 million of my money in that legal battle. And then my father said, enough is enough. You're not going to win against them. So I said, no, I'm going to go after him. I said, I can only go after him and do something about it if I own or run something that he wants. And what is that one thing he wants? That money can't buy him. It's cricket. Then when ESPN got taken away, I had said I would like to go after
Murdoch.
Murdoch. But also in the meantime, I had known so much about sports business and what the cricket had done is valuable around the world. And sports has a value and I knew every sport inside out, what the value of every sport was, whether it's World Cup or the English Premier League in the UK. That led to me getting into cricket. And understanding the market, understanding what viewership meant, what it meant to the brands, knew how the brands were hungry for exposure in India. And the only exposure that you get is through cricket, because it's a non-missable event. The more Indian cricket board started to make money, they had no money. We didn't even have an office. We didn't have any office even when they started making money.
So BCCI didn't even have enough?
Not even till the time I joined BCCI. Even till then, even after with ESPN and everybody, but still they were making small money. When I joined the BCCI, it took a long time to join it. BCCI was a cool old boys club, controlled by Jagmohan Dalmia and his cronies in those days.
How did you join then?
It took a long time to get in there. And then I had a good friend, Vasundhara Raje, without doubt, who was a good friend of the family. My family and her family go back a long way. And
that's how you Scindia's connection and all of that.
That is right. And she happened to become Chief Minister of Rajasthan at that point in time. I said I helped her in whichever small way I could in funding part of her life election campaign. And my take, I need to get onto the Indian Cricket Board. How do you get onto it? I tried first through Punjab. I became vice president with Mr. Bindra. I became a thorn in Mr. Dalmia's. I ganked the first time members of the BCCI, giving them the right value. A lot was skeptical about it. Mr. Bindra, who had seen the world, understood it. And he thought I was right. But he was still the president. I was the vice president. Only the president goes to the BCCI. Vice president doesn't. But that gave me insight into the workings of the BCCI, how close the group was. It was impossible. I became then, nobody knows this, I became member of the Himachal Cricket Association, Goa Cricket Association, Orissa Cricket Association. Okay, many different associations, but could never get to the top because there was still cronies of Dalmia in there. And the voting pattern in all these so-called state associations, that they're called, was all tightly controlled by one person and generationally controlled by one person. And still is generationally controlled by one person.
जो president होगा
उसी का भाई भतीजा लड़का बनेगा president.
बस सालों से यही चलेगा.
अभी तक चल रहा है.
Cricket board में पूरे इंडिया में.
पूरे इंडिया में. Only in some places there's a break. So Rajasthan passed the Sports Regulation Act, saying nobody has the right in any sport, and it was across all sport, to be generationally running a federation. It must be by the merit of the districts. So private membership is out.
You made it pass?
First it had passed through assembly. That is what she helped me do. But it wasn't benefiting me. It was benefiting everybody from every sport. And I didn't have Jaidad. I happened to become then president of one district, which was Nagaur district. But any change in district required BCCI approval. Jagmohan Dalmia was head of BCCI. After he had seen I was battling, I was openly battling him. Media everywhere. He said, Lalit Modi को नहीं आने दूंगा. तो क्या हुआ? Lalit Kumar became president of Nagaur district. My first name and middle name is Lalit Kumar. मोदी को हटा दिया. फोटो मेरी, thumbprint मेरा, Lalit Kumar. Out in passing of all the resolutions for all the cricket associations which is done by the general meeting of BCCI in 2003, it was also passed.
किसी को पता ही नहीं चला.
किसी को पता नहीं. ललित कुमार became president of Nagaur cricket association.
ललित मोदी बैंड था तो आपने ललित कुमार बन के रजिस्टर करा दिया और किसी को
that is my name. रजिस्टर क्या करा दिया? मेरा ललित कुमार मोदी नाम है. I didn't change my name. I just said Lalit Kumar, omitted my name Modi. Okay, but name was छाप मेरा, फोटो मेरा.
Got it.
कौन देख रहा है फोटो? Hoping nobody will see it. इसे देखा ही नहीं. But that was still not over the case. That is, I became a district president in Nagaur. I built academy there. I built a beautiful ground there. I did lots for the community out there. In the meantime, this is 2003. 2004, Vasundhara became president of chairman of the church, Chief Minister of Rajasthan. It was lucky she became. But I was already enrolled into every association. I had also Baroda. I forgot even Baroda. I was a member. Wherever I could become member of, I became member. Goa, Baroda, Orissa, Himachal.
हर जगह.
Punjab. Where I could become. I was already working towards Delhi. Where there were members voting. I had already cornered. There was 1,900 members. सब चांदनी चौक वगैरह के मेंबरशिप थे. वहाँ पे भी मैंने 600-700 लोगों को through canvassing I had got. I was working on many fronts. So it wasn't I was working only on one front. My objective was to get on the board, right? So you don't put all your eggs in one basket.
कि कहीं से भी chances मिल जाए.
लगाओ आप. Now, Vasundhara passed legislation. Legislation gets challenged in High Court. We win in single bench. We win in double bench. It gets challenged in Supreme Court. We win in Supreme Court. Gets re-challenged in Supreme Court. And a higher Chief Justice. It became a national issue. Many governments joined in. And they said, हमारा क्या होएगा? एक स्टेट में हो गया, और स्टेट में होएगा. I had a great lawyer, friend of mine, Aruneshwar Gupta, in those days. He's still a very big lawyer. He was the architect. I said, एक स्ट्राइक नहीं चलेगा. Let's go on every state. हर जगह लगाओ एप्लीकेशन. सबकी एप्लीकेशन मैंने लगाई.
क्या की प्राइवेट वाली बंद करो.
सबके हाथ लगाओ. सबके उंगली करो सबको.
एप्लीकेशन इसी पे थी ना कि प्राइवेट वोटिंग्स बंद करो. सिर्फ पब्लिक वोटिंग्स होगी.
पब्लिक वोटिंग होगी. पब्लिक वोटिंग कभी भी चेंज हो सकती है. हाँ, हर जगह एप्लीकेशन लगाई. We made the cricket board run in every direction. Who spent the money? I did. My own personal money. Nobody gave me the money. I did. I won the Supreme Court. It was the biggest election. You would see there were 500 media people outside Supreme Court. My election happened. Then also, they again challenged. Supreme Court said what? We will decide the matter on merits later. We seal private vote. Voting should continue. Then what happened? They had all the money power also. Kidnapping of people takes place. You put them away in hotel, they can't come to vote. That is when paisa baji chalo. Sabko paisa khilao. Now these 32 districts, my only issue was, I will build a stadium in Rajasthan. I will get government to give us stadium and we will renovate. Cricket कभी खेली नहीं राजस्थान में. एक दिन में नहीं खेली इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट. रणजी ट्रॉफी के लिए ग्राउंड नहीं है. आप क्रिकेट बोर्ड में हो और ट्रेजरर हो 20 साल से. क्या करा आपने क्रिकेट के लिए? कुछ नहीं किया. I gave a blueprint to the 32 members. I was part of it. And we won 31 out of 32 districts. Landslide. Without election, over 1 lakh people on the street on my election. Never happened in a cricket election. 1 lakh people on the street. Stadium. And I became president of Rajasthan Cricket Association. I have got a seat on the BCCI board now. Mr. Dalmia, only person talk, Mr. Dalmia, against Mr. Dalmia, me and Mr. Bindra, though. We started with 2. We said we got to remove him. I got removed at the state level. Now, how do you remove at national level? That is again 31 votes. Then I started put my blueprint about 2,000 crore versus 20 crore. Business plan out. 99% didn't believe it. Nobody believed it.
So you said कि बोर्ड अभी क्रिकेट बोर्ड इंडिया का 20 करोड़ कमाता है, मैं 2,000 करोड़ कमा के दूंगा.
सब पैसा खा रहे हैं. क्यों? मैं चला रहा हूँ ESPN. मुझे पता था ये रेट है हमारा. ये रेट देखो इतना बना रहे हैं. आप दे रहे हैं 10 करोड़ साल का, हम 10 करोड़ मैच का बनाते हैं. कौन खा रहा है सारा पैसा? कौन देगा फ्री में? आप बेकार में बेच रहे हैं. सहारा इंडिया वॉज टी-शर्ट स्पॉन्सर. Indian board got nothing. Ex-cricketer of India, I won't name him, very famous cricketer of India, would sell the t-shirt himself. हम लॉर्ड में गए, वहाँ पे देखो क्रिकेट इंडियन टी-शर्ट बिक रही है. हाँ, पैसा कौन कमा रहा है? वेन्यू सब खा रहे हैं.
मतलब जो स्पॉन्सरशिप इधर जैसे लिखा हुआ है एयर सहारा,
वो तो सहारा के लिए 1 करोड़ रुपए देते थे साल का. सहारा
1 करोड़ रुपए देता था
बोर्ड को. टी-शर्ट की तो वैल्यू है. अब आप जाते हो टी-शर्ट खरीदते हो, कितने की आती है? 400 रुपये, 500 रुपये. उन दिनों में 100 रुपये की आती थी टी-शर्ट. वो 100 रुपये कहाँ जा रहा है?
कौन रखता था?
जो मर्चेंडाइज कर रहा है.
वो भी बोर्ड के पास कुछ नहीं आता था.
बोर्ड क्लोज हिज आइज बिकॉज मिस्टर मैस्करेन एंड मिस्टर डालमिया वाज डूइंग साइड डील ऑन एवरीथिंग. जहाँ देखो जहाँ में साइड डील हो रही थी. तो आई स्टार्टेड टू शो कितनी वैल्यू होगी. फुल ब्लूप्रिंट वाज मेड बाय मी एंड मिस्टर बिंद्रा. ऑफ कोर्स मिस्टर बिंद्रा वाज द गुरु. ट्रिप्स वाज द मेन इशू देयर. कौन जाएगा इंग्लैंड ट्रिप पे, कौन जाएगा ऑस्ट्रेलिया ट्रिप में? मैनेजर अपॉइंटेड बाय डालमिया. इफ यू लुक एट द हिस्ट्री एंड यू गो बैक, इट्स ऑल वेब अवेलेबल. यू विल सी जो खाता पीता था उनको मिलता था. और मैचेस एलोकेट किए जाते थे ऑन द बेसिस जो क्लोज है उनके. तो राजस्थान गॉट नो मैच. Now there were 5 regular test centers. Punjab was one of them, Delhi was one of them, Mumbai was one of them, Calcutta was one of them, Chennai was one of them. And the rest would go by rotation. Whenever there was a test series in India or a cricket series in India, test matches went to all of these places. And one day series would also go to all these places, but by rotation to all the others. Rajasthan return अभी तक नहीं आई, एक बार नहीं आई. And the state association head would make his money on allocation of matches. How? You sold panels. They'd undersell them. Ticket price खाते थे. That was the right of the association. I said everything should be computerized. Everything should be above board. एक मैच का I remember 50 लाख रुपए बनता था साल का. एक मैच के लिए. एक association. They were happy. I said, it shouldn't be 5 crores, it should be 10 crores. A match. Everybody said, I'm mad. I said, there should be no free ticket. I said, allocation should be done, and we should. And I said, I will buy my own ticket. And the chief minister said she will buy her own ticket if allocated to Rajasthan. And I said, I'll make 20 crores. I made 30 on day one, on first match. I sold advertising which was sold for 50 lakhs for 18 crores. On one match. Ticket sales, which used to be 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 7 crores. Food sales, all added to 30 crores. Unheard of sum. Not even made by the national game. And I became the youngest vice president of the Indian Cricket Board at that point in time. We went on to have an office. Before the year was over. Year is over. I did a 300 crore deal with Sahara. For the front of the shirt. Highest sporting deal ever in the history. From 1 crore rupees a year to 3 crore rupees a day. I showed the value that they're getting on television for this day. Went on to sell 200 crores of Nike for just a bug and have a merchandising deal in place. Went on to cancel the Rupert Murdoch contract and scissor in a meeting with him, with Mr. Pawar, and terminating the agreement. And to the astonishment of Mr. Pawar in those days, it was on a Friday evening at 5 p.m. I called when Mr. Murdoch had come to do a meeting with Mr. Pawar, and I was there. And he was going to have a dinner with my father. And he had forgotten about that he had taken ESPN from me. And he said that, Lalit, I'll see your father tonight. I said, yes, you might not. He said, what happened? I said, your contract is terminated. Mr. Pawar looked at me and said, what? I said, sir, he's paying 40 crores. My minimum value I want for the board is $500 million. What? Everybody said what? So it was breaking news already on television. It was breaking news on television at 5 p.m. Why 5 p.m.? Courts close at 5 p.m. Okay? I had the tender out at 6 p.m. Same day. Closing before the courts open on Monday morning, on Sunday morning. Already had a deal in place with Nimbus that you will do a minimum bid of minimum $500 million. Minimum. That was my minimum bid price. Okay? That Nimbus had to call a channel in those days. I will launch a new channel if I win it. It wasn't into my pocket. I could have done a deal with somebody else. Subhash Chandra also wanted to bid. Rupert Murdoch said, nobody will bid. I said, yes, nobody. And he stormed out, I'll sue you. I said, yes, you will sue us. We probably terminated you for wrong reasons. Good luck in court. 10 years, you might win a penalty from us. By the time you'll be bankrupt, and as far as India is concerned. Okay? We went on to make history. We had started the regulation, the way of operation was through a press conference. All bids were open in front of everybody. All bids were submitted in front of everybody. Everything was regularized. We went on to build cricket centers in the years to come, which is now the hub of cricket in India, on a blueprint that Mr. Pawar laid out with a new team. Of course, I was very much part of running it. We went historical amount of revenues in there. And that led to what happened with the IPL.
But this tenure from 2005 to 2008,
2007.
2 years.
Yeah.
This is where you went from $67 million to $1 billion in revenue
Yes.
in just 2 years.
And the same product, not repackaged, just repackaging the marketing. That is it. Now,
Why were you so confident that you'll be able to sell it at this
I
price?
knew the value of it.
Because you were in the business.
I was in the business of it. So I knew the value of it. I knew the business could take it. And it was just money being made by Murdoch or anybody else. I said the board should make the money. I knew where the money lived.
And you didn't make anything in this?
I cut everybody's hands.
But you didn't take any, maybe like a kickback or stuff?
Well, if I did, I would get the board would not make that money. Everybody we made money off went bankrupt. Everybody, including Nimbus.
They went bankrupt.
In that business. Because we took every penny out of it. They would say, no, Lalit Modi took. They went after all the board for making them bankrupt. Subhash Chandra went bankrupt also with the international, these sports. If Lalit Modi had taken money, they'd go after me, no? They went after, but we took every money for the board. People have very short memories, but when they lose money, they have very long memories. Okay? Nobody wants, so if Lalit Modi had taken a penny, that's what Dalmia did. And my tenders were submitted in front of the press. Live feed. Open in front of the press. Live feed. So you didn't, tenders were advertised. Anybody could bid. You submitted and opened in front of you. Envelopes are not touched. That was the order of the day. Press conferences are followed by press releases. Written right on the spot. And published on the spot. Before people left the media room. Public and media were invited. That's why we had thousands of people in the setting. We should, instead of BCCI, we had a banquet room to do all our media conferences and opening of tenders. So it wasn't open in front of members. It was open in front of media and all bidders sitting there. And that became the rule of the game. And so if somebody wanted to make money, also they could make money. What is that? And I had no interest. What will they give me? We're earning, Modi Group earns so much money. What do I care about this little chiller?
True.
That is people don't understand. My lifestyle was bigger than anything else. My daily expenditure was more than what we were getting. So it really didn't make a difference.
How did IPL happen?
I always had this thing that we should, because I wanted to own a league. But now I no longer can own a league because I'm part of the BCCI. I knew there was so much money sitting on the table outside of national cricket. Two people made money in those days, ICC and BCCI. And ICC made money only based upon India cricket. When Champions League happened, Champions Trophy happened in India, India games all sold out. Even England playing Australia, the second biggest ticket item in the world. In India, there are not more than 100 people in the stadium. Globally, the same. Indians are very passionate about cricket. But they are only passionate about Indian cricket. They don't care a damn about anything else. People talk about soccer, you're a fool, invest in soccer. I understand viewership. 0.1 rating on World Cup, soccer, the elite watch it. Okay? Person in the village doesn't care a damn. उसको सचिन तेंदुलकर चाहिए, हाँ, कपिल देव चाहिए, बिशन सिंह बेदी चाहिए देखने को मिलतेगा, हरभजन सिंह का स्पिन देखने का है, उसको वो गली क्रिकेट देखने का है. I knew there was a burning desire outside the 110 days India played international cricket. Rest of the year, what do people do? It's a daytime sport. I understood in the entertainment industry, two things worked in India: Bollywood, cricket. Nothing else. Why not find a way to combine the two? How do you combine the two? You can't take Bollywood into the field. That's a pajama game. Huh? You need to keep it real. I came up with the idea, and I started seeing international sports where celebrities would attend a basketball game, and the media would go crazy, the fans would go crazy. So why not make Shah Rukh Khan own a team? Make the who's who of India own teams. Now T20 has come out. So India had never played T20. T20, I'd heard about it, never seen it. So I went to England to see it. Counties, small playing, small game, but a lot crowd. All of a sudden, it has caught the fancy of ICC because the English Cricket Board decided it should cancel the fancy, and they announced T20 World Cup in March of 2007 to be held in October of 2007. I proposed to Mr. Pawar we should do a T20 league. We should sell teams. That's the IPL plan. Let me study it. Everybody is against it. Mr. Pawar said, go ahead. Start looking at it. So I'm watching a Wimbledon final in London. I sit with Andrew Wildblood, the head of IMG. I said, okay, guys, let's do IPL. Let's do 20 over cricket. IPL was born on a napkin, paper napkin, sitting there that day. I said, we have no money. And we had no money. BCCI said, you can do it. Well, you come up with a plan on your own cost. So I came up with a plan on my own cost. I said to IFG, if you join me, you got to bring in X 100 people. I can't pay you. If it works and we launch, you will get 10% revenue of BCCI. Just fair. It was less, but to me it was extremely fair. To them it was less. They wanted 30. We agreed on 10. And I signed an agreement with them. Took it to the board, got approved. Okay, it was just a development agreement. ICL has now gone full steam. India is now returning back from England, from their tour to England.
How much money got approved from the board?
Nothing, zero.
Okay.
I'm telling IMG, if and when we launch, you've got to do all the work. You'll get paid 10%.
What work they have to do?
You have to do the work till we launch.
Okay.
Hello.
All the league work you have to do.
And if it doesn't work, you get nothing.
Okay.
And I get nothing anyway because I'm honorary. But now I had a party who was ready to put bodies, men, financial resources behind it, and put the business plan together. I have now started to talk to the players. And all the players on the Indian team say they're not going to participate in the T20 World Cup.
Why?
Because this is not a format they recognize. Okay. India never played T20, so everybody walks out. And India sends B team. Led by that time junior Mahendra Singh Dhoni to South Africa. So anyway, we officially announced IPL in a press conference at Delhi Taj Palace on the 13th of October 2007. The Indian team is leaving on the 13th night, and all the board presidents are called by Mr. Pawar for the inauguration. And I was a powerful body that by that time. I could pick up the phone and I tell you attend, they will attend. Because BCCI controlled the power. So we announced IPL and everybody is laughing at us. Shane Warne came, Fleming came, Flintoff came, I remember, and we had Sachin and that. Sachin and Rahul was there, Rahul Dravid was there. And as the 4 pillars up there, we launched the IPL, Indian Premier League, but that was just a template. Still
You announced it.
announced it, and BCCI says, I need money now. Still not launch. Launch is far away. We don't know whether we have a broadcaster, we don't know whether we have players, we don't know whether we have team owners.
But you announced that this is happening.
So I now go to South Africa. Lukewarm interest in Indian television. How do you make it interesting? This is the key. Nobody understood it. Don't understand. It's still lukewarm. Not mainframe television, not Indian main players are not playing, new players are in the team. And I go there and tell the team. An idea came. Nobody's ever hit 6 sixes in an over. Nobody's ever taken 6 wickets in an over. Leave alone willing. I said, anybody who hits 6 sixes or takes 6 wickets, I'll give you a Porsche out of my pocket. Nothing to do with BCCI. Ha 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 ha, whole team, everybody laughing. Hare, you give us impossible tasks. I'm very friendly with all the players. I'm part of the BCCI, right? Everybody laughs. Okay. Anyway, we're touring around. And one fine day, Yuvraj Singh blasts 6 sixes. My God. That 6 sixes is the start that IPL is a reality. It lit the fires of Indian television, the news channels, it repeated it, and Yuvraj comes running to me on the field and says, Lalit, where's my Porsche? I said, give me the bloody bat. And that bat is downstairs. And he runs back, but that's not it. We, from there on, lit the screen on the television, caught the imagination of the people of India. India goes on, the entire board assembles in South Africa immediately. Everybody and anybody, every top movie star is there, Shah Rukh Khan to the world, everybody is there. In South Africa, the Wanderers for the finals. And we win the finals. So Mr. Pawar and I, we decide that day, let's honor the Indian team. And I learned back and I said, sir, I'm going to land 2 hours before the Indian team. And we'll do a parade from the airport to the Wankhede Stadium. And you should give everybody 1 crore rupees each. A lot of money in those days, extra. People had contracts of 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs. जो टीम में खेला है उनको 1-1 करोड़ रुपए देते हैं. हाँ, it'll be great for our league going forward. Board का money है, we have made so much money, let's give it away. And it's a good idea. So Nike is sponsor of Indian team. I call up Nike from the plane. I call up from my plane in those days. So from that, I was on Vijay Malia's plane, I remember. Coming back, I said, Indian team landing, it's your team. Nike Team India is your team. I need 5 open deck buses painted overnight with Indian players thing, and we'll put the players on open deck buses and take them to the stadium. And we thought there'll be 10,000, 15,000 people out there. And all the media asking me for interviews. I told all the media, no interviews. We had banned media interviews for other reasons. I said, if you all want interviews, you cover this parade live. And you cover this live. I'll put you on a bus in front and the bus in the back. And then 2 buses will be players and 1 bus will be officials and celebrities, etc. And we will land at 7 a.m. and you will get your interviews at the stadium. Great. I called Parnoy, I called everybody in those days. Everybody said, yes, no problem. They're all hungry. Media came. Now, I land and I'm now shitting bricks because it's pouring with rain. Okay, it's pouring down with rain in Bombay. Okay, there is not a soul when I land at 5:30 in the morning, 7 o'clock landing. Not one person in the airport. But I knew that crowd will gather as the flight is about to land because Indians are passionate about cricket. It's always happened. I thought Mr. Pawar is going to come and kill me. We land there. I get on the news media. I said, you've got to start blasting Indian team coming. Heroes are back home. Welcome the heroes back home. For a 1 hour ride, it took us 12 hours from the state. Not 12 hours, sorry. 9.5 hours. 9.5 hours for the team to go from the stadium, from the airport to the stadium. millions and millions, close to 4.5, 5 million people, chock-a-block the streets of Bombay, stand still. We knew IPL was born. IPL had nowhere else to go but up this way. But we still hadn't signed anybody in IPL, but that is how we did IPL. And IPL was then born as an idea. And then I went back to the group and said, I need 200 crores to start IPL. They approved it, but some were skeptical about it. So I did not encash even $1 of the 200 approval I took to launch the IPL. We started IPL without a single rupee. I signed on players against the backdrop of ICL signing on with their league. Brian Lara didn't take my offer. I made four different verticals: 100,000,
What was the offer?
200,000, 300,000, 400,000 minimum. I thought I'll put you in the 400,000 bracket, and I came out with the auction rule, which went on to be revolutionary, that you will get paid the right price. Nobody can underpay you or overpay you or pay under the table. Each team will have its own budget and its own. So it'll be a healthy budget. You can pay a player as much as you want as long as it's within the budget. So it was $5 million in year one, if I remember. And I told Brian, you'll get $1 million. But if you're asking me, he said, ICL is paying me $1 million. I said, I can only put you in a bracket of 400. I can't put you in a bracket higher, but you may get more. There were only iconic players which we chose. Sehwag, one team I remember. Sachin was another, Ganguly was another, Rahul was another, Dhoni was another, for different teams. Each team had an iconic player we'd choose. And they'd get paid 15% higher than the highest bid. Was the rule that I made. Okay? But I went to all the international players and I said, if and when we launch, we still didn't know if we will launch. You sign on and you will be in this bracket. And we will pay you, if we don't launch, we will pay you $10,000. So I signed contracts with the top 100 players. If and when I launch, and if I don't launch, you'll get 10,000 for signing here today. No money paid out.
All 100 signed.
Few hundred signed by then. Took live. And even if you're not picked in the team, you'll still get paid minimum guarantee of the 100, 200, 300, 400 that you're in. And if you are a 400 guaranteed, you pay 100, we'll make the difference up. So that's the risk we will take. And how did we think about that? Because we said, some players said they want fixed salary, irrespective whether they're sold or not. And even if they're sold, they don't want the upside. So if we said the upside will be kept by us in the board, and the people who are underpaid, who we cannot, if somebody on a 400 salary goes for 200, we have to make up the difference of 200. We'll get it from that. So the formula was made, and we had players signed up. So I knew if you had all the players exclusively available to you, you had a product, you have a game plan, that it may work. This is without knowing whether there's any other sponsorship coming, any other ticketing revenue coming, any owners coming.
Yeah.
So anyway, we sat in London at the Jumeirah Carlton Tower. That's my favorite hotel and my luckiest hotel. And on 21st morning, we have closed the deal, and Sony agrees to pay $60 million.
Okay.
To World's Group, who will put the entire, give us, they were anyway on the hook, but now they had a broadcaster. So we had 60 million coming in. I knew we could promise the owners what I said. And I made calls to every one of them. I said, guys, I guarantee I will do it, but I cannot disclose anything till the tenders are all out. But the broadcasting tender, I will publish tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Now I will publish it tomorrow morning. You know there's 1 billion in the bank. And 60 million in year one. It's broadcasting news. Now you calculate how much you want to bid. Even despite that, we only got 10 bids.
For the teams.
10 teams. Highest was 120, Mukesh Ambani. 121.2. Mr. Malia was 121 million over 10 years. And 67 was the lowest bid.
Who was the lowest?
Rajasthan Royals was the lowest bid. And so 8 teams came in out of 10. Who lost were DLF and Anil Ambani were the 2 people who lost. But then we now had 8 teams. We sold 8 teams for $782 million. $720 million, sorry. $722 million, I sold 8 teams. I had $1 billion contract in place. I already made $2 billion without bowling the first ball. And 50% at year one payment in advance in the bank. So 26th of January, Republic Day, Indian Cricket Board had $100 million in the bank with cash in the bank without taking a dollar in, paying a dollar out.
But before that, tell me about teams. You said...
We sold the teams. 8 teams are sold. Now,
but you said in the beginning of our conversation that Shah Rukh Khan was a pillar of
of course,
conversation.
because that is going to come. That is, Shah Rukh was a pillar because I knew Bollywood that's to do with viewership. It's got nothing to do with this. Shah Rukh was pivotal to me to bid for a team. So he bid for a team. And he said, मुझे कुछ पता तो है नहीं, मैं bid करता हूँ. I said, आप तो bid तो करिए. Every person who's bidding can bid for all teams. His main attraction was bidding for Ahmedabad or Mumbai.
Ahmedabad कौन सी team थी?
उस time नहीं हुई लगी. It is based upon the top 8. He put a lower number for Ahmedabad. He put different number for different cities. He got Calcutta, but his first choice was Bombay. And Mukesh Ambani took Bombay. Calcutta was his third choice or something. Bangalore was his second choice. Vijay Mallya took Bangalore. No, not even third choice. His third choice was Delhi. Delhi bhi gayi. GMR ko. His bid was much lower. His bid was, I think, 70 something or 80 something. 80 million. All of these were over 100. Chennai was over 100. Delhi was over 100. Hyderabad was 100. Shocking. Calcutta was next in line. 85. Sorry, his was 85 or 87. And then it was 75, that was Punjab. And then it was 67, that was Rajasthan Royals. So Shah Rukh Khan was pivotal in me getting into bid. That still didn't make any difference to the IPL. It became big news. And Preeti was part of the Punjab team, but she wasn't that big a news for me. What was big was Shah Rukh Khan. It was only Shah Rukh Khan. Preeti came because she came with Nes Wadia, along with Nes Wadia. It was important for me to get people who were big spenders and consumer goods. So Dabur was a big spender, Britannia was a big spender, Vijay Mallya, Kingfisher was a big spender, Ambani was a big spender. And then there would be, in my case, ego rivalry between the industrialists. And to me, Shah Rukh was going to be able to bring the women and children into the game. None of them were important for women and children. Same players are playing IPL. So women and children was extremely important for IPL to click in terms of viewership. That's why the music, that's why the girls, the youngsters coming in, that's why the cheerleaders were there. Good music, festival coming to town, a lot of activity around it, a lot of hoopla around it. That will only show when the game is played. So now I said, first match is an important match. As far as I'm concerned. To make it work, it has to be Shah Rukh Khan versus Vijay Mallya. Two major glamorous people who they are full of life, they live life king size. As Vijay Mallya is concerned with his parties and everything else, he will do an amazing party for us, not at our cost. First match. And Shah Rukh Khan will bring all his friends and all the stars into the stadium. I need that. We haven't sold second day tickets. We only sold day one tickets. I said, to get people into the stadium, I need Shah Rukh Khan. So we got people into the stadium. I didn't see the first game. I could not watch the first game. I was in the locker room sweating till Brendan McCullum comes and hits the 158. It's game over. It is game over right there and then. I dedicated the IPL to Brendan McCullum. Shah Rukh could get the people in. He keeps the people in today. He is what he is. If it wasn't Shah Rukh Khan, Brendan McCullum, who hit the 158 on day one and lit up the Indian TV screen, it would be another matter altogether. In year one, we had to beg or pay celebrities to attend our game. And year two, they came on their own. And year three, they want us to invite them to the game. Simple as that, okay? Because it became, everybody wanted to be part of the game.
Yeah.
Okay? In year one, if you see all teams, after they saw Shah Rukh Khan, somebody took Deepika as the brand ambassador, somebody took somebody else as the brand ambassador, somebody took Akshay the brand ambassador. Rightly so, but the film stars brought a lot to the game. And they do. India is quite very hungry for celebrities.
Did
especially-
anyone call you, be like, hey, even I want a team?
Everybody did. Not one. Everybody did.
Every celebrity.
Everybody wanted it. Everybody on the planet wanted it. Everybody still wants it. Okay, the price just goes higher and higher and higher and higher.
Did you face any death threats, any extortion calls?
Many. Dawood was after me at the front page of every newspaper in year 2. And
Because they
South-
want a team.
Not because they wanted a team, because they were fixing the matches, and I had a zero policy of fixing matches. I didn't allow. So for me, anti-corruption was a very big part of my thing, and I thought the integrity of the game was extremely important. I accused ICL of match fixing, and I got into a lot of trouble legally in England with Chris Gaines taking me to court and actually winning against me on hearsay, saying it's hearsay. And actually, it was later found out that he had lied to the judges, and the verdict got overturned, and I was right. So I got death threats many times from Dawood Ibrahim, and he did try to take shots at me and tried to do it in many places, which is all available on the web.
So आपने बताया नहीं कि शाहरुख खान को कन्विंस कैसे किया आपने टीम खरीदने के लिए? Because you said कि उनका खरीदना बहुत ज़रूरी था, because you wanted him to buy a team so that stadiums can be filled.
Not only stadiums can be filled, women and children will come into the game. So I said to Shahrukh, you need to own a cricket team. He says, Lalit bhai, I don't know what cricket is. You know me, he had a football with him, I remember that day. And he and Aryan were kicking football and they were putting football on, kicking it up, putting it on the head, putting it on the shoulder. I said, that's amazing, okay. Can we just concentrate on cricket? He said, I don't know anything about cricket. If you tell me you're investing, I trust you. I will invest. But you have to hold my hand and show us how to do it. And I said, that's good. If that's the case, will you definitely attend? I said, yes. I said, you have to be present everywhere. Thought about a minute. You know, I have my film commitment. I said, this will be bigger than your film. Started laughing. I said, this will be bigger than anything. If you say so, in a joking manner, trying to contain his laughter. And then I'm really dreaming big. And I'm saying we need to hit it day one. I'm going to do auction. Nobody understood the auction system. What do we got to do? I said, you got to come to first and foremost to the bidding process where you're going to bid for a team. Hopefully you bid high enough. I will guide you on the way, but I don't know what there are many. I don't know how many bidders there would be in those days also, at that point in time. This was in December 2007, before the tenders even went out. And in principle, he said, "Okay, fine, I will come in," and that was it. Similarly, I had to do it with all other owners.
But KKR, didn't you give it to one of your close friends, Jay Mehta, right?
Jay Mehta Jay and Juhi are very close to Shahrukh. They're all part of the. So I didn't give it to anybody. Shahrukh had all decided that they will make a consortium, and he brought Jay and Juhi in. I think he brought Juhi in, and then Jay came along with him. But it was extremely difficult to get anybody to bid. We became a superpower cricket today. England always was the superpower for cricket. England, historically, the MCC ran cricket, and then where the headquarters were. And then along with Australia, the old buddies, the colonial system ran the cricket. We were able to break out from it. Mr. Pawar and I, Mr. Dalmia started that journey. Without doubt, we have to give him credit for that. He started that journey of breaking out of the thresholds of the stranglehold of the Western powers on cricket. But all of the international grounds started to flourish based on Indian money.
Yeah.
And we became with lousy infrastructure because our board never spent any money, didn't have that kind of money to spend till the IPL came in. Today we are building one of the most modern infrastructures in the world. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to see them, but I see them on television. They're beautiful. You must have experienced some of them. I don't know. I haven't experienced a new one. I'm told Ahmedabad is absolutely incredible as a stadium. I mean, they're putting great stadium in Guwahati, in you name it, in different cities. Orissa, Lucknow, Kanpur. I mean, different cities are putting up great.
But can't you go there?
I can go there, but I haven't gone there because of the various issues that came in, especially with the IPL. And after season 1 was over.
Can you come back to country now?
I can't come back to the country. I have no legal cases. I never had a legal case against me.
So why why there's a thing that you ran away from the country and you can't come back.
I did leave the country when there was a death threat to me. The death threat to me was...
So it was not because of the legal case, it was because of the death threat.
There was no legal case to start with. When I
What
left.
death threat?
By Dawood Ibrahim. Dawood Ibrahim made the threat to me first after IPL won.
Why?
Because I was against, and I was also anti-corruption. I was an anti-corruption commissioner too. I didn't allow any. I was a very strict anti-corruption commissioner. If you look back and you study today, even every news reporting, and you Google it and you search it, in the 3 years as IPL commissioner, there was not a single incident of corruption. And in the 3 years of my tenure, there was not one stigma or one controversy that came out of fixing, or anything to do with fixing. Betting was huge. We know betting is huge. It's $2 billion a game is the illegal betting today, and was in that time. And the books are controlled by a person called Dawood Ibrahim. And I did not know all this. I was anti-corruption. We took a very strict stand, and I became the target. And openly a target. We are in South Africa season 2. We haven't gone to the controversy of South Africa season 2, but you asked me the question. There was a hit on me. Front page of the Times. It was in the midday, it was in the Times of India, it was front pages everywhere. Hit on Lalit Modi by Dawood Ibrahim, a target of the world. They tried to take a hit on me in Thailand. Chota Shakil has already gone on record on ABP News. He's given a live interview that we have resolved issues with Lalit Modi. This is 2-3 years ago that he gave that interview. But we had an issue with him till then. I had a hit with me in Montenegro. I mean, all the places. My son got kidnapped in the UK. Okay? All to do with me not looking the other way.
You're not allowing the corruption to happen.
Not looking the other way. Let it happen. And they offered big money. Big money that you wouldn't refuse. I refused. I was out of the game. I left in 2010. Corruption began. News cycles. Huge controversies. I said, if I'm not there, somebody else will corrupt. Who got caught? Mayappan with his pants down? With Chota Shakil? Who's Mayappan? Son-in-law of Srinivasan? It's not something I say. It's in the news. It went to court. So point is, we knew corruption is there. I took on Chris Gaines in ICL. I didn't allow him into the IPL because he had a stigma of corruption with him. He took me to court after 3 years, after I come to the UK. Lives in New Zealand. I live in London at that point in time.
But he won, right?
He lost. He won the first round and he lied to the court. And then it got reversed. What happened? Important story. We go to English courts. Big court case. $5 million cost me in legal fees. He cries and he pulls wool that he hasn't done it. Exchanging of money, transactions are shown. It's gifts for my attendance of a wedding. Or doing this in Abu Dhabi, doing this in Dubai, doing this in Pakistan. No documentary proof, hearsay. Somehow or the other, judgment came against me. I paid a penalty, $5 million. There was one state police officer watching all of this, who was also an anti-corruption police officer in Australia. Out of all the places on Australia, monitoring this, sees this happening, takes his own initiative. Harvard Beer is his name, I remember. Takes his own initiative to contact us and say, he is a crook. We have evidence on him. We can't help you right now. You have to live with this stigma. We will prosecute him. And they did prosecute him. And they found that he was crooked in Australian courts. That case that came back to the UK courts when we appealed it to the UK, based on that case, their evidence was produced in the UK court, and I won it finally. And what I said was exactly right. Chris came and apologized. He had to pay a huge penalty. I forgave it because he said he had no money. At that point in time. What you read is very correct. I lost it the first time around.
Yeah.
What you don't read, it's also there.
It's not being written about.
Of course it's written about. But it's a fine line in the Indian newspapers. You search the Guardian and the Times and everything, look at the social media feeds of mine. So it's all there. But it is not highlighted enough.
So why do Indian media, Why are they doing
Scandal
this?
sells. Simple as that. Why does the Indian media only portray scandal? Because only scandal sells, guys. Come on. Nothing else sells. You don't sell a good guy. You sell bringing down people.
Every news you read about you in India,
It's down.
It's
Fugitive.
scandal, it's fugitive.
Fugitive.
Like people,
But give me a fugitive. Where? Harish Arde said in court himself. Every time. How many people are going to explain? Because there are no libel laws. When there are no libel laws, how do you sue somebody? We are a country of no libel laws. That's our downside. Anybody can say anything. You try and say that in the UK. You call me a fugitive in the UK press. What happens then? You'll be taken to the cleaners in the UK. Which court of law? You say it. You've done your research. Find me one court of law that has prosecuted me. Forget prosecuted me. Case hasn't even been filed. Which case has been filed in which court of law?
but isn't it BCI put 22 charges on you?
Putting charges without letting me coming to the hearing is an internal body of putting charges on you. You can put charges on anybody. I can charge you for X, Y, Z. But you need to take it to court. We ask him to take it to court. They can't.
What happened? Like, explain me this story because the moment I search about you or even
BCCI
hear
put
about
many
you,
charges on me.
BCCI have suspended you on 22 charges.
Let's go charge by charge. What's the problem?
So first is bid rigging.
What is the bid rigging I did? Let's understand. IPL become extremely successful. We're going to bid for 2 teams.
Yeah.
Okay? I just said we are expecting a number close to $300 million now for the IPL. We don't want anybody to bid for a team that they can't pay for it. Earlier the price was less, $50 million,
Yeah.
$5 million a year. Now we're expecting big money,
300 million.
300 million. My minimum bid price is 225 million. If I'm going to put a $225 million price, a $300 million price, that's what you have to pay BCCI, that's us. You've got to spend an equal amount on players and other things over the next period of time. So you need $400-500 million of free cash flow, play money. To have that kind of play money, you must be at least worth $1 billion.
Yeah.
Otherwise, where is that? That is the clause I put in to the agreement, into the clause. I said, you need to have a net worth of $1 billion to be able to bid for IPL teams. That was my bid rigging. That's the clause of bid rigging. Carry on second. And so, hold on. 2 people bid, 2 or 3 people bid. JP Group bid, Adani Group bid, Videocon bid. It'll cover a lot of other points that they've covered in the same issue. This is an important issue. Minimum price was 225 million.
Yeah.
At the close, we have a very strict timeline of timing. When the bids close, the bids close. We never extended it ever for anybody because somebody gets news out who some bid close at 5 p.m. We had 2 bids in. Another bid arrives for 2 teams, only 2 bids come in. Another bid arrives at midnight. There's a hue and cry whether to accept the 2 bids only or accept the 3rd bid also. Is there something hanging back? So I go back the next morning to the board and I say, we have 2 bids at 5 p.m. The bids don't come to me, they go to the BCCI office. And there's 1 bid at midnight, I'm told. But the 2 bidders at 5 p.m. are saying that we should not be accepting the 3rd bidder. If we are accepting the 3rd bidder, because already in the news now the 3 bids come in, other bidders who have been not thinking of bidding, they said we would also like to bid. Why didn't you bid before? You had 1 month to bid. There's like some reason or the other they gave. So the issue was, the first bid was Ahmedabad, second bid was Pune, we know who the bidder names are on top, and 3rd bid was the Kochi bid. If we accept the Kochi bid, which came in at midnight, we would be digressing from our rules. So either we scrap this tender without opening it and redo it for 1 week later. Then the issue also came up. Sahara had written that we don't qualify for $1 billion mark. And then Bhaskar had written, we don't qualify for $1 billion mark. But we qualify for 800 and 900 million mark. Why don't you lower the criteria? So I said, okay, no problem. If the board agrees, we lower the criteria.
Yeah.
So we lowered the criteria to no criteria again. I said, we're putting in no criteria, it's not worth it. We should at least do 500 to 400 million or 500 million. The board said, no. First time around, did you have a criteria? No. By that time, a lot of pressure had come in on a lot of members of the board. And they said, you will take the fall for this because there was also a lot of star cast at this bidding. both the teams, or all the three teams, had senior stars associated with their bids. And they were at the cricket center. I said, guys, bids off. New bids have to come in. Still, the base price was 225. We did not know what these three bids were. Going forward, I rebid. In the new bid, again, Adani Group bid, Sahara Group bid, many bids bid. Sahara won the bid with Pune at 380 million. The second highest bid was 348 million. Was the Kochi bid.
Tuskers. Huh.
And the third was the Adani Group's bid at 333 million. Rest we forget about because they were lower. There were three bids only that came in. Fine. Sahara bid, I immediately signed. I look at the paperwork, I immediately sign it. They have the network, they do it. I look at the Kochi bid. And this revolves into 20 other questions of yours that you'll likely ask. Shashi Tharoor, etc. Everything will all come out of here now. Bid rigging, match fix, this, arm twisting, all the BCCI charges are all related to this particular issue. I look at the Kochi bid. I'm chairman and commissioner of IPL. What is my first and foremost target? To ensure the integrity of the game and my teams.
Yeah.
I look at the 12 shareholders of the Kochi franchise. It was supposed to be JP Group, which it was in the first round of bidding, which was a big conglomerate. All of a sudden, 1 week later, it's something totally different. Whether it's media hype or people got greedy or anything else. Of course, the first one was also orchestrated by Mr. Tharoor. And I look at the agreements. Of course, there are 12 members, so you have to have a shareholders agreement between you to bid together. We look at the net worth of all the shareholders put together to see this. Then we find a clause in there that the shareholders have signed an agreement for $50 million. Guys, you got to pay us 34 million. 37 million, I think it was. Oh, 34, sorry, 340 million. You have to pay us 34 million in year one alone. At the start, when you sign this agreement, you got to pay down 34 million to us. Okay? You got an auction coming up, which was by that time already 7 million. Exactly. 7 million in year two. 34 plus 7 is 41 million already paid out. And you have an agreement only of 50 million. You have to still pay the marketing cost, the operation cost. How are you going to fund this team? Okay? Any other funding required, all approval unanimously of all shareholders, it ain't going to happen, I said. Okay? They are on hype. They must be on a valuation thing. Then I call all the shareholders. Think controversy starts to blow up. No controversy by then, till then. I am being pressured, I must sign this deal.
Why?
Mr. Tharoor is pressuring that I must sign the deal. So I am saying to Mr. Tharoor, I will sign the deal, but let me meet all the shareholders. And I ask all the shareholders, guys, one by one, I would like to ask each one of your question. And everything is recorded, by the way. Huh? All my meetings are always recorded. Tell me where your background is. I don't know you. 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 And I'm in the cricket world. I would know everybody in the cricket world or in the business world. That is to know, but it doesn't matter. It's not my knowing. You may be who you are. And everybody gives their credentials out there. And then I'm tick marking everybody. And there's one name I see out there who's missing. And it is a lady by the name of Sunanda Pushkar. Now, Sunanda Pushkar, in the agreement, has $0 in the 50 million consortium, but owns 25%
Of the team.
of the team for free. Plus, for every dollar coming in, revenue line, not profit line, revenue line, she gets 15% of it.
15% of revenue.
Of revenue. As marketing genius, it's written there. So one guy, Mr. Gaikwad, speaks up in low tones. I said, tell me quickly, what is it? He says, my father knows this lady and he brought her into the consortium. So can I speak to your father? Calls the father. I said, who is Sunanda Pushkar? भाई साहब आप सुनंदा पुष्कर को लेके आए हैं उसको 25% शेयर दे रहे हैं 15% ऊपर से दे रहे हैं और आप 75% वाले जो शेयर होल्डर हैं उसको फंड कर रहे हैं और आपका टोटल कंसोर्टियम कॉस्ट 50 मिलियन का है, इसका मतलब सारा पैसा आप लगा रहे हैं, उसको दे रहे हैं। आपका जो 10 रुपये का शेयर है आज की तारीख में 10 पैसे है, उसका जो 10 रुपये का शेयर है आज की तारीख में 10,000 रुपये का है। हाँ, ये बोनंजा आप क्यों दे रहे हैं उसको? एंड यू कॉल हर मार्केटिंग जीनियस, कैन आई प्लीज मीट हर एटलीस्ट? He said, yes, sir, I will call you back. Put the phone down. Immediately, I get a call from Shashi Tharoor. 2 o'clock in the morning. How dare you ask about Sunanda Pushkar? I said, Shashi, I'm very friendly to everybody. Shashi, what is the problem? You put a consortium, you know I'm having a meeting. Why isn't she here? Don't you dare ask about Sunanda Pushkar. If you do, I will have you raided by ED tomorrow. You'll be taken by income tax and we will jail you. I said, excuse me? Who the hell do you think you are? And I used the F word. I said, fuck you. And I banged the phone down. And I said, I'm not going to sign this agreement. There is something not right with this. Within a minute after that, it's all minuted, by the way. This is exactly minuted in the board minutes because it's a meeting going on. Minutes of the AGM. I get a call from Shashank Manor, who never calls at this time in the morning or ever. Was the president of BCCI. I had my only boss that I reported to. Even as commissioner and chairman of IPL, I reported to him. And he said to me, Lalit, you will sign this agreement. I said, Shashank, you really don't want me to sign this agreement. Let's sit down tomorrow. I can fly in to Nagpur and we'll meet tomorrow morning. I'm going to Bombay. Instead of going to Bombay, I'll fly to Nagpur and we can sit down on it. And then decide yes or no. He said, no, you will sign it tonight. I said, what's the hurry about signing it tonight? He said, no, you need to sign it tonight. I had received many calls from 10 Janpat and you need to sign it tonight. Exact words. I said, I don't care who 10 Janpat is or who anybody is. I am not going to sign this agreement tonight. If you don't, I will fire you on the spot. I said, that's fine. He didn't say I will fire you. He said, you run against me or something. I said that if you're forcing me to sign it, then I will sign it under force. And I will minute it on the agreement itself that under duress and under force, and I have directed by the president of BCCI, I am signing this agreement and not on my own accord. And I signed the agreement. I'm done, put her under the bridge as far as I'm concerned, and we go to bed. I get up in the morning. Every newspaper, front page, Sunanda Pushkar getting married to Shashi Tharoor. I had no idea. Zero idea that was the case. Now, all the pieces start to fall into place. And I said, this is not going to happen on Monday my watch. It ain't going to happen. And I'm on the plane. I just tweeted, taking off. Who the hell is this Sunanda Pushkar? Rags to riches, billionaire, media expert, now owner of Kochi team, 25% bonanza at day one with on signature, it's worth hundreds of millions of dollars because the team went for hundreds of millions of dollars. She owned a free $300 million asset right there and then at the end of the day. And Mr. Tharoor called and said this, here's the recording of this.
You uploaded that?
Completely. And I took off. Went to sleep on the plane. And I landed. They were hell. Complete chaos across the country. Parliament had gone into an uproar. BJP was in the opposition, demanding JPC, and chaos. That takes care of all the 22 charges of the BCCI. After that, because I went up against everybody, ultimately Tharoor had to apologize. First he said no in Parliament, then he said yes, it was him, and then he had to admit everything because everything was on recording, and he had to resign. Kochi went on to get the team, and they said I was arm twisting to allow Ahmedabad to come in.
Yeah.
I thought Ahmedabad was the right team to come in because it was they had a good conglomerate. Ahmedabad was the right city to come in, and there's no two ways about it. For IPL, I wanted Ahmedabad to come in. Whether it's the Dhurs or the Adani, whoever would be the owner, I really didn't care. But I thought it was a great center for the IPL. And And there must be some curse that it hasn't come until even today. After multiple 2 more. And what happened? Sahara defaulted. What happened? Kochi defaulted. They had to be taken out. Rebates have come in. And now we have 2 new teams. But after a lot of soul searching. Exactly what I said will happen, happened. Because people are not looking at, they have never built something. They never knew it. So now everybody's trying to save their ass. So let's pick out everything. Auction rigging, this rigging, I gave Flintoff to Srinivasan. Yes, we did. No doubts about it. Every team knew about it. Srinivasan wasn't going to let IPL happen. He was a thorn in our bird. Yes, we told everybody not to pick Flintoff. Yes, that I did. But because Srinivasan said, I want Flintoff. It was a quick. When you are trying to do an event like IPL, and I'm doing it single-handedly, you need to remove every thorn. What is bigger for the game? Every player is only for 3 months, 3 years.
Why was he being the thorn?
He didn't like IPL. He didn't think IPL will work. But when it started to work, when everybody got on the bandwagon, he was a member, secretary of the board also. He was the biggest adversary of mine. I went up against him. So he did many things. Empire fixing. He said, I did. I accused him for it. He would change the empires. And I didn't think 2 things about it in the beginning. But then when I realized that he's putting Chennai empires on Chennai game, it was an issue for me. That's called indirect fixing. So when I started to expose those, he went totally against me.
And then why didn't you fight for it? It's like while still being in India.
1 minute. You have a Dawood Ibrahim. Now I'll tell you why I didn't do it. So things get out of hand with the Tarur thing. Srinivasan now thinks he's got something on me. Makes alliances politically with the powers that are in power at that point in time. IPL finals is coming to an end. It's coming to an end. This matter is just going round and round and round. Nothing about me. There's no accusations about me at all. It's IPL final day, 3rd season. There's no accusation against me. Nothing. They say we need you to resign.
Why?
We want to do an inquiry. And we'll slap you on the wrist and you should resign. We have pressure from the political parties. All political pressure. From the Prime Minister downwards. At that point in time. I said, I will not resign.
This is Congress.
Yes, it's the Congress party. You want to fire me, fire me. But I will not resign. Overtures were made by the stalwarts of Congress to my family. They said, Lalit doesn't listen. He's not going to do. Senior billionaire Chino owners were called. Meeting was held in Mr. Malia's house before the finals. Step down, don't go to the final. And everything is fine in 2 months. I said, I'm not concerned with 2 months. Why should I give her something I haven't done anything wrong? If I have done anything wrong, I am going to go to the final. Don't give you a speech, closing speech. They're all worried about the closing speech. I said, I will go and do the closing speech. Because I am going to explain the controversy to the people. As far as I'm concerned, I have nothing to hide. I said the right thing. What did I do wrong? I exposed Sunanda Pushkar. What is I doing wrong? She won. She got the team fine. At the end of the day, Tarun has been exposed. He's out. Okay? But the other guys have to carry on not doing it. How are they going to fund it? How are they going to do it? That's their business. Not my business. Future will tell whether they survive or not. I did my part. So, they all took the money in. The IPL went from 1 billion to 2.54 billion with Sony. Okay, everything else went, billions of dollars came in, more, another $1 billion came in for teams. BCCI benefited everywhere, all the way around. How do we make Lalit Modi? Every meeting had agenda items like this. I was never in charge of finance for anything. I never signed a check in my life. I never approved a check in my life. I did the marketing of it, but ultimately everything had to be approved. However bewildered people are of what I asked, I had to deliver at the end of the day. And I delivered not 10%, 500% of what I said I was going to deliver every time. A board, when I joined, was $40 million the day I left, and that is the April 26th, 2010. That's the day of the final. of the IPL the day I was fired. Okay? Suspended, not fired, suspended.
Suspended, yes.
It has 57,800 crores in the bank. So, my track record speaks for myself. Will I take 5 or 10 or 20 crores? Absolutely not. I spend millions and millions on my own. My plane costs was more flying up and down. Everything was mine. At the end of the day, did it make a difference? No. I ran businesses worth hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. Modi Group's revenue ran into billions of dollars. Do I need them? No, I didn't. And everybody knows that. But people who don't know, to make it a headline, to pull you down. Now they said, let's find out anything you know. Let's pull something in. All friends of Lalit Modi. Let's go after them.
But then they put a lot of money laundering cases on you as well.
But which money laundering case they put on me?
FEMA put something because
On
you...
BCCI. Please understand. Lalit Modi was the head of IPL. FEMA said, we moved the IPL to South Africa without government approval.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We don't need your approval to move to South Africa. We are a private organization. Who are you? We're not taking your money. We're not taking public money. It's our money, which is earned internationally. Okay, number one. And number two, I don't handle finance. I don't handle approval. It's the secretary's job and the finance controller of BCCI, finance secretary of BCCI, treasurer's job to get those approvals.
So your name was only brought up again and again
I was
because...
one of the names, by the way. I was not the only name. They were all members of the BCCI. But do you recognize Mr. Pandav? No. Do you recognize XY? Srinivasan was there a little bit. But you recognize the name? No, really. Mr. Bindra's name, nobody would recognize those names in media at that point in time. Whose name was there? Lalit Modi. So who's blasted as Lalit Modi? FEMA case against BCCI, Lalit Modi. It's Lalit Modi moving to South Africa, spending $100 million on marketing. Yes, we spent $100 million. But did we take it out of public money? No. We raised the money ourselves by selling our rights. It was done directly through proper channels under the bilateral trade agreement between South Africa and BCCI, Cricket South Africa and BCCI, which has been going on for years, where BCCI cannot spend any money, of course under FEMA rules, unless you take RBI approval.
So what happened to these 22 charges?
Half of them got dropped. They never allowed me to come to even defend myself. I said, if you want me to... The day I was to defend myself, they closed the report because I was driving to the St. James Court, to the video conferencing room to give my report. They were afraid that first they thought I would never come to this report. While all the charges are being fought by my lawyers and everybody else directly, and all the other defendants, there were lots of defendants they put in, all the other companies that they went in, and all of them have won, by the way. Every one of them has won. Okay? They came to me, and to my turn, I was the last defendant. I was on the way, 10 o'clock was the start, it was 9:45, I get an email saying, report is closed, you're no longer required, and we have charged you and banned you for life. Okay, good, banned me for life. You were going to do it anyway, should have waited for 1 hour more, no? Like foolish, now you give me a time to say that you banned me. Fine, you banned me. How is that going to help anything else? I'm going to still go after you all. Because then I went to expose where they're making all their money. The money is not being made by the BCCI, it's being made by the association. You have to understand what BCCI politics is. I broke into it. When they're doing tax grants going in.
Yeah.
I wasn't concerned. I built the stadiums. I was in infrastructure. I brought Greg Chappell into Rajasthan. Rajasthan went on to win the Ranji Trophy under me. We never won a thing in our lives because we had great coaching. We had great academies. Built up the world's best academy out there. We got the world's best coaches in there. I never handled finance. I spent the money, which I earned for them. I never took a salary. I never took a payday. Okay? It was done. Everybody else did.
You think one politician ruined your BCCI stint?
One political party all got together. It got exasperated, which you didn't go into, which was the bone of contention, was IPL moving to South Africa. That put me head against.
What happened? Tell me about it.
IPL season 2 is coming up. We get a call to saying this center is not available because elections are going to happen. And which are the centers calling me? This is where the crux of the problem is. Then you will understand why the whole thing is of year 3.
This will tell us why people are calling you fugitive.
Absolutely.
Why people are putting so many charges against you.
Yes,
And money
absolutely.
laundering and betting and everything.
Everything.
But in short, like before we actually wrap this and then go to tier 2, you can come to India.
I can go tomorrow morning to India.
But-
Now I choose not to go. First, it was my wife was not well. That would
So legally, you're not a fugitive. Legally, there are no
I'm
charges on you.
Not a single one in any court. And if there is, please produce it in the front of the program right away. And please come back to me. If you find it even after you go back, before you air this program, you put a charge sheet in any court of law against me for a reason of law that I have lost.
But how many charge sheets are against you?
There's no charge sheet. There's an FIR filed by Mr. N. Srinivasan. That's it. FIR. And that FIR report is closed. But they refuse to make it public to date. And we are asking them to make it public and to close the FIR because they don't have guts to do it because the report's in my favor. And by the way, they don't know how, but we have a copy of it, of the noting. And that is why they're not able to change the noting on the file. And I put it on my Twitter feed, the noting file of the police commissioner, saying nothing now has been done.
Does it bother you
It does, it
that
used
they
to
call you
bother me.
fugitive?
They can call me and what they want. I know what I am. My friends know who I am. The simple issue was we had never thought about leaving India to go to South Africa. Elections were coming in. So there were Congress ruled states and there were BJP ruled states. Our matches happened in both states, all the states, in fact, non-Congress states, even in Calcutta, West Bengal, in Delhi state, everywhere. So there were ruling party states and non-ruling party states. Congress decided that IPL is bigger than anything and it will hurt the election because people will not come to our rallies. So we should not allow Congress, BCCI matches to take place in that state, city or state.
Okay.
So one by one they started to refuse security arrangement. We didn't need the approval or anything else. We needed the approval not to hold matches, but to get security. Security was denied. So you deny me security in a Congress state, I will move it to a non-Congress state. So I moved it to Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad would give approval. I would move it to Rajasthan. Rajasthan would give approval. Move it to Calcutta. Calcutta give approval. Non-Congress alliance states would give approval. All the BJP states started to give approval. Okay. So you have the local police, but you also require border security force, such large masses. So all of this tug of war is going on every day. One day, one center falls off. Another day, another center falls off. Third day, a new center comes up. I did 157 iterations of changes from 1st of March to the 21st of March, where it was go, no go, go, no go. And BJP states agree, Congress states don't agree. Finally, we take a decision, we'll go with the BJP state. When we take that decision, it's now the 19th or 20th of March. We don't have a broadcaster still, huh? We have a contract for 2.54 with WSP, but they need to have a nationwide partner.
Which they don't.
They don't, but we're still negotiating to find a nationwide partner. Who will that be? I'll come up with the biggest name of all names. In the meantime, Government of India now says we will not give any BJP state border security force for the match. No matches can be held at BJP states also. Blanket ban.
Congress says this.
Yes, officially. Okay. I call a meeting on the BCCI. We have no choice. We have to move to South Africa or England. Congress pressures us not to move. I said, who was there to stop us? If we do not do IPL 2, IPL is finished. There is no IPL 3. The momentum will finish because we only have 1 year behind us and everybody will fall apart. Amount of money everybody's already spent. I was suspended on the finals of the IPL. At the time I started my speech. Okay, that's when I got suspended. And I left and I got the show cause notice for suspension right then. And I started to reply to it, which I did the reply over the next till the 10th of May. When I landed back, the reply was ready to be submitted, and it was 100 cases of paperwork showing that whatever they have said, we had a documentary proof to everything. They did not think about looking into the cartoons on that. Sticking to the Dawood side of things, I was told by my personal bodyguard on the plane, you need to go to the toilet. in the back entrance of the airport where the VIP planes land. I said, why? He said, no, you need to go, sir. I go there, and Himanshu Roy is there, Deputy Commissioner of Police. And he said, Lalit, we cannot protect you anymore. We've been given orders by center. There will be a hit on you. We can only protect you for next 12 hours.
After that, we are not allowed to give you security.
No, we are not giving. I can personally protect you for next. We have been asked not to give you security now. From now onwards, I can protect you from here to the Four Seasons Hotel. After that, I cannot protect you, Lalit. Period. So I get to the Four Seasons Hotel. Hundreds of media there. I have my own South African security with me, my Indian security. I need to leave the country that night. It was decided. It was discussed with the powers that be, except the Congress people. Everybody else was on the loop. We had to pull the strings to get me out without being stamped out. So I did leave for the airport. My motorcade was followed by the media. So my motorcade left in one direction with somebody dressed as me from the garage of the Four Seasons Hotel in Bombay and went towards the Taj. And a friend of mine came and picked me up without naming him, because he's still in India. And a political friend of ours picked me up, who happened to be a minister at that point in time in the central government, was part of the alliance. Put me in the back of the Range Rover. And I went through the airport. Okay? I had VIP credentials of also being an honorary consul general of a country. So I could go through the immigration without going through the police check, without as if I'm not a passenger, which is what I did. And I was allowed to board an aircraft where I won't name the name of aircraft because, again, don't want to get others in trouble. By making the chairman of the company overseas, allowing me to get into the aircraft. There were no cases against me by that time. There was not a single show cause against, only a BCCI show cause. There was not a single case against me. I was not a fugitive. But there was a threat to my life. And I went on the plane and I left India. And 2 days later, I was stamped out of India. That became a separate inquiry later on. How did that happen? But that's their business, not mine. But that is how I left India. So then it became tutu meme.
But why do people who leave India, they come to London?
It's the safest country in the world. Because no political influence is allowed on the legal system. To me, as I sit back here, year 17 of IPL, and I reflect back in every year of the IPL, and they've done a remarkable job, by the way. Under Mr. Jesha, they've done a remarkable job. He has really, because he had the political will and the political stand behind him. Apart from that, as an administrator, he has made a IPL in a firm position when no one can even touch it today. And I always said IPL is nobody is only going to grow and grow as recession-proof. But today it's truly a remarkable organization, and they've done a great job with it. They don't take my name, still in the field, and they're not allowed to.
Why?
And I was banned or suspended or whatever they call it for life, and they don't want anybody to have anything to do with Lalit Modi.
Do you want to fight your suspension?
No.
Why?
What for?
Why not?
Why?
Because you built something.
Listen, it's difficult to fight a closed body club. I had a long fight. I fought for 14 years. I've won everything. My wife passed away. She went through enough time. I decided to give up cricket and hang my boots forever, and I did. Nobody can take away what I did from me or can ever take that away, even if somebody doesn't want to acknowledge it.
I have one last question because I've been noting down all the things that we've discussed till now. Okay. And so if you start from your point when your TV venture start, ESPN deal, okay, it got shut down because of financial irregularity, right? It got shut down because of underreported revenues, because you had some mess up with Murdoch.
No, I did not shut down.
The ESPN thing.
They bought me out.
So something financial happened.
No financial. We were making too much money. And Murdoch was losing money. Again, wrong.
So you didn't like.
There was no financial irregularity. Mr. Murdoch merged with Disney on an Asia-wide basis. My
So
agreement
all
was
these, things that
Disney
that
bought me out at
claim.
$300 million valuation.
So it was not because of underreported revenues.
They were management. I wasn't in management. I started with, I never ran day-to-day operation.
Because everywhere in every venture, there is some level of financial mismanagement.
There is not
or-
one. You're the first one who pointed it out today. I don't know where you got that number from. Everybody, they won't come back and be partner with me in IPL and everywhere else if I had financial misconception with them in first. The first I've heard from you today. Disney and I go back even today. We are good friends.
And
We
there's a
never-
big business.
So I don't know where the financial irregularity coming in. It's only by BCT. I never raised before by anybody. They bought. I would never sell it at low price.
So it was never. It never happened before BCCI.
Ever. So I
There
had
was
this, Disney when they wanted to buy. I had an agreement to buy me out.
There was another case, right, in Rajasthan where you wanted to buy 2 Havelis to make a
Come on,
hotel.
again, this is all political bullshit. I bought Havelis because they were nice Havelis, not to make a hotel. I'm not in the hotel business. I was living there, buy Havelis. By the way, Haveli cost 10 lakh rupees.
But
What is
then
the
you lost.
financial irregularity about that?
But you lost that case because
I didn't lose the case. They said it's heritage. Okay, take it. What did lose the case? They said it's heritage. You bought heritage property. Okay, then take it. What do you mean lose the case? Case was passed against me that you bought a property that cannot be converted to a house. It's heritage. Okay, sir, thank you very much. I will last 10 lakh rupees, take it back. That's the losing of a case. Fine if it's losing a case. What is the cost of doing it? 10 lakh rupees. Pay for my meal in London with 20 people.
fair,
So things are blown up out of proportion
for no reason.
for no reason. Haveli case.
So what's your closing message?
What is put in the media is firki lagani.
Masala add करके.
Firki lagani. That is only that thing sells. But I asked Vineet Jain, why do you publish bullshit? He's a very dear friend of mine. You party with me every night. You're in my house every night. Simple I used to say, लौंडिया बाजी करता है ना मेरे साथ करता है ना तो फिर क्यों मेरे बारे में लिखता है कि ये लौंडिया मेरे पास बैठी थी अरे तू अपने आप कर रहा था पेट्रोल बाजी इसे लाने अरे तूने फोटो निकाला मैं भी निकाल सकता हूँ तेरा फोटो तुझे निकालना है तो मेरे पास नहीं है सारे कैमरे की फोटोज हाँ नथिंग टू से यू सेल पेपर्स यू सेल मीडिया यू कैन आस्क हिम दिस क्वेश्चन सीधा उसको मैंने मुंह पे बोला आई एम सेइंग इट अगेन खाता मेरे घर पे है छुरी मेरे को मारता है पीछे से क्योंकि पैसा उसको बनाना है I filed a libel suit against him for 100 crore in those days. It's still pending in court. If I had done something, file a case against me, no. At least file. I filed against every media 100 crore rupees each for libel, but it doesn't come up because there's no libel law.
So what's your closing message for the people who think that you're a fugitive? Or people... No, a lot of people don't even know your real story. After this podcast, they'll get to know. But they just think that you have done something wrong because of the narrative of all the media houses that you've just pointed out.
Narrative is controlled by media, as you know it very clearly. And after a point, I get tired of clearing your name. People tell me we'll clean your web. I think, what for? There are lots of agencies who say we'll clean your web. What for? What is it? It is. It is who I am. I am. Nothing can change that. India, as such, has a crab mentality, you know it. Anybody who does well, they have a tendency to pull you down. It's by nature. American society pulls you up. They look up to people who do well. Some other societies look up to people. But in our society, but not to do with me, to do with anybody. वो अच्छा कर रहा है उसको कैसे नीचे घुसे हैं. We have this crab mentality. So I appreciate you doing this, what you did today, and I appreciate giving the time. But when it has to clear. I'm not going to go out there and keep shouting from the rooftop, clear my name. My work speaks for itself. If I'm corrupt, why do you watch what I created? So watch something else. If you want to watch the IPL and keep saying Lalit Modi is credited, why watch it? Have they innovated? No. Have they changed anything? No. They took away cheerleaders because they said Lalit Modi stamp. What happened? They have to bring it back.
True. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you giving time. for all the journey like you have been through, the good, the bad, the ugly. One thing nobody can take away, that you have given India the biggest entertainment. That I think before this podcast, after this podcast is clear, and nobody can take away from you that. And I hope after this podcast, people get to see the real side of you as well.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching this podcast till the end. Please let us know in the comments what all did we do right so that we can improve and keep doing that better, and what all did we do wrong so that we never repeat it. And at the same time, please give us suggestions of who's the next guest that you want to see on the podcast. And don't forget to share this episode with at least one person who will get some insights and get to know about the reality of our country, because one conversation is enough to give people enough ideas to change their lives. I'll see you next time. Until then, keep figuring out. And also, don't forget to subscribe the channel.